Now, I think this is a kind of a good pivot I think we can make on this one. Joseph, social media literally has family members disown each other. I think it's a manipulated reality.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to social media and the impact of on the midterms is huge, because this is the primary way information is I want to say information is shared, but we all know that only a certain portion of information can be shared, and certain narratives can be propped up. But
Red
it is
flag laws.
It's an
Yes,
incredibly
Joseph.
yes. I also WEF one.
I don't know.
World Economic Forum. He's
Oh,
oh, yeah, there you go. It doesn't surprise me. But talk to me about your thoughts on the impact social media is going to have on the midterms. We've already seen statements from all the big tech corporations.
Oh, okay.
Google,
Okay.
Facebook,
Okay.
Twitter has all made essentially statements on tamping down on disinformation and misinformation going along. How big of an impact do you think that's going to have, I should say, on the midterms, and manipulating the narrative? Obviously is a big deal. Pontificate, if you will.
And we can't truly know until afterwards, because we won't know. We don't know what's going to come out in between now and then.
Yeah.
And
there's going to be another fortification.
There's no telling how hard they're going to try and fight that. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if no new stories come out, I don't know how much it will be, because there's not like a ton of... There isn't a Hunter Biden-esque thing happening right now where we're waiting for more information to come out. I guess Donald Trump, right? Yeah, so the Donald Trump thing. So, man.
But there's a lot of time between now and the October surprise, too.
And that's so big, that will be very difficult. God, I can't even say that.
That's hard to measure.
I was going to say, that's so big, it will be difficult for them to quash information that comes out of it. But if there's a New York Post type source or agency that gets a source, that even if that gets a source that's just like one that the Washington Post gets, that's someone with knowledge of the fucking whatever, right? And I have an article so I can read like a really good example of that.
Okay.
This is Trump team claimed boxes at Mar-a-Lago were only news clippings, right? This is from the Washington Post. So this is a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. And then I'll continue with that. Months before, National Archives officials retrieved hundreds of classified documents in 15 boxes from former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club. They were told that none of the material was sensitive or classified, and that Trump only had 12 blocks of news clippings, according to people familiar with conversations between Trump's team and the archives.
That's a source.
Right. So, and then during the September 2021 phone call with the top archives lawyer, Gary Stern, former Deputy White House counsel Pat Philbin offered reassuring news. Philbin said he talked from White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who made the assertion about the dozens of boxes of clippings. The people familiar with the call said Trump's team was aware of no other materials. Philbin said relaying information he said from the phone call. The characterization made in the call vastly misrepresented the scale and variety of the documents. Let's see, there's another. Philbin said that Meadows also told him no documents had been destroyed, according to two people with knowledge of the call and a third person with knowledge of Stern's contemporaneous account of the call.
What the fuck is that? Fuck
so,
you.
So if an article...
This is the Washington Post?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So if an article comes out that's pro-Trump, with that type of sourcing, they will bury it.
Yes,
they will absolutely bury it. That's why I read that, because if that's the sourcing, they will bury it. So I think Joseph is probably right, depending on what the information is and who reports it first.
Okay, so I have a counterpoint to that.
Okay. Isn't that fucked up, though? That's the best one. That's according to two people with knowledge of the call and a third person with knowledge of Stern's contemporaneous account of the call.
That's... Bro,
and
why would you even say that? And just write it out as if you know it's fact, because that's fucking crazy.
I acknowledge, right, that I understand journalistic integrity and having to conceal sources. Like, I get that you know, anonymity and stuff like that. I don't remember the last time that we like knew who a source was. Okay, but that's we start to get to an issue. And
I will say the only place you will find that these days is in like your local fucking paper.
Yes.
When they're talking
Yes.
about something that happened down at the wharf or whatever. So and so the marina director said.
Right. The issue
that's
is,
it.
The issue is the amount of lying and bias-laden reporting that we have seen. The less and less we tend to believe these people because we don't. You're losing integrity, right? So the protection of sources only works when you can trust the journalistic enterprise that is doing the reporting, and
Trust the sourcing.
And no corporate media has any type of legitimacy anymore. So,
You know, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think it's time, just like it was time to quit calling them the media, right? We call them corporate press, corporate media, whatever it is, corporate shill-ass motherfuckers. This is not reporting anymore. This is storytelling.
yeah.
This is narrative building. This is
Right.
this is storytelling. The corporate press's storytelling says this.
It's
That
borderline propaganda.
you cannot say that they're reporting on anything because they will not tell you that any real person said anything. This could be an incredibly, you know, because the prose is a lot of times very flowery. I mean, this is very good fiction if you're writing a political thriller.
Yeah.
There is no reason to believe that this is anything other than a fictional narrative that is put out by the corporate press. There is no reason to believe that unless you can prove to me at this point that you have a trusted source that I can trust, probably by telling me who the fuck it is. Because none of these people, if their job is dependent on them not talking to you, do a better job.
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous. The fact that anybody has any credibility in this anymore is just, you cannot read this and call it fucking reporting anymore. No one's reporting shit. You look at the independent media, you look motherfuckers online. Jorge Gonzalez down at the border. He's on camera as migrants are crossing the border, and he's talking to you, and then he's talking to the migrants. That's reporting.
Right.
This is not. This is somebody that lives in a studio fucking apartment in New York City or Washington, D.C., writing up some fucking flowery narrative because they texted with somebody who works in Washington and then writing a story on it as if it's fact.
This took 3 reporters.
3 fucking reporters.
Yeah, you'll like this too. This says
I'm angry, man.
this. Stern had sought the call because he believed there was still more than 24 boxes of materials that Trump had, and he also had concerns about whether digital records had been properly retained, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. Top archives
I
officials
have knowledge of the situation. Isn't that awesome?
Top archives officials continue to believe there was more material than they were being told, according to people familiar with their thinking.
So, all right. So let me just parse this out here. So, the archivists think there should be more, according to people that are familiar with their thinking.
Yeah.
Got it. So you could read. So this person obviously can factually. If you're looking for facts here, this person can read fucking minds.
Yeah.
And and knows exactly what these archivists think and feel that they want.
Or at least how they think.
Hey everybody, Colin here from Salt of the Streets. Thank you for watching today's edition of Salty Shorts. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to check out the full episode right here on the Salt of the Streets YouTube channel. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this with all your friends. And you too can become a spreader of the message of liberty. Thanks.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought.